Well, hey there, Diet Disruptors. Carrie here, and I'm excited because today's episode is going to be the start of something new that we're doing. See, my team and I have been talking, we've been brainstorming, we've been planning about our year of podcasts as we go into a new year. And one of the things that we hear from so many people is that this just feeling like time is so limited. And I've heard from many people that they love our podcast and they love what we're doing. But also, I see how we kind of fall off as I get past about the 20-minute mark in terms of being able to stay focused or stay engaged. So, this is what I am committed to for you. I want so much to share and to teach. And I'm going to be doing this in little 15-minute segments. So, no more of you needing to sit through 35, 40 minutes of listening to Carrie. I'm going to stick with the topic. I'm going to be efficient and I'm going to be just direct and making sure that I'm teaching in a way that you can take into these small little bites. So these little mini sessions, when I'm doing my podcast myself, should be really powerful and should be really impactful. Now, when I have guests on, and we have some amazing guests coming up this year, then that's going to be a little bit longer because we're going to be able to dive deeper and have a little conversation. But for us, and especially today, we are going to tap into a very first mini session. I love getting straight down to business. Recently, those of you that have followed me might remember that my team and I decided to do a scholarship. Now, we've done some scholarships before, but they were always some internal scholarships, maybe when people were doing a challenge of mine, like a 5-day challenge or things like that. And I sort of saved the scholarship opportunity for people that were doing something with me and engaging with me in some way. Well, this year we decided to just blow it out of the water, and we were giving away a scholarship to one person, and we were opening it up to our entire community. So we had tens of thousands of people that we shared the opportunity to be able to do a scholarship with. And the response was absolutely overwhelming. We had hundreds of people apply for a scholarship to be able to work with us in my private practice. So I have a variety of different health and wellness brands, and I work with health pros to be able to build their businesses. I have a product line, Zyve, where we have a digestive enzyme. We have a few new products coming out this year. And then I have my private practice. And in my private practice, I can only work with a handful of clients a month. My team and I are very selective about who we work with. And so, maybe about 10 new clients we bring in a month if we're bringing in anybody into the private practice. So it's very exclusive, and there's a whole lot people kind of have to go through in order to be able to be accepted as a client of ours, where we have a series of phone calls that we chat with you about just to make sure you're really in the right mindset to wanting to truly transform your life. Well, we have a lot of people that we know want to be able to work with us, and for a variety of reasons, financially might not be able to. So we gave away a scholarship, and my team and I really struggled to be able to figure out who it was we were going to award it to because we had so many compelling stories. So at the end of the day, we decided to give away not just one full scholarship, but 25 partial scholarships. We ended up giving away more than $60,000 in scholarships, and it was one of the most joyful moments of my life. I wanted to speak to every woman that we were awarding a scholarship to, and I was so proud of these women for being vulnerable with me, for sharing with me, for talking with me, and for trusting me to be able to work with them. We brought in more clients than we normally do in a given month, but my team and I really believed that it was important, it was right, and it was what we needed to be doing. So welcome to all of our new clients that came to us based on the scholarship. And I wanted to use this episode to tell you guys about 5 things that I heard throughout this process of talking to so many women about their health, about their wellness, about what they want, what they say they want, and then what they are willing to do. So I have 5 aha moments that I need to share with you that came out of our scholarship offering. 5 things that are holding you back from actually making the progress that you say you want when it comes to your health, longevity, and your life. So, number 1, wow. This one hit me like a ton of bricks. And I know this, you guys, I've been doing this for a really long time. But when I saw hundreds of applications with one after another telling me that they have struggled with food and their body and their confidence, their weight since they were teenagers, and the average age of a person that applied when we looked at all of our applications was 55. So the average woman had been struggling for more than 40 years. And that was my first real aha moment I want to share with you. If you're honest with yourself, how long, how many decades have you been struggling with your body, with your relationship with it, with your relationship with food, with searching for a solution over and over and over again? And if you are in the second half of your life, is that how you want to spend the next half? I gotta believe that you don't want it. The thing is, our brain goes to what's familiar. And if you have been struggling for decades, your brain is used to that. You're used to the search. You're used to never really finding the answers. You're used to the pain. You're used to the struggle. And while you might not like it because you're used to it, the first thing to remember is that you are going to struggle to walk away from what is familiar to you. So, yes, decades of struggle sounds awful, but what is going to be even harder is actually being willing to walk away from what you're used to doing. So be self-aware that the longer and longer you've been on this roller coaster, the more your subconscious is going to want to stay there. Actively work against that. Okay, number 2. You believe it's selfish to invest in yourself. I talked to so many women that said, well, yeah, if I was given it for free, if I had won the full scholarship, yeah, but to have to pay anything, I feel like it's selfish of me. I've tried so many things. I've been doing this for so long. And, honestly, like, my kids need to go to college. I have Christmas. I have, a vacation we want to do. And I don't want to take away funds from that for myself. And I need us to recognize that, yeah, you might have done a whole bunch of things, but all the things that you've done before brought you to this moment. All of these things, these diets, these quick fixes, these beliefs, were all based on a number on a scale and based in deprivation and restriction. 3 questions you have to ask yourself before you start any nutritional approach. 1, is it based in science, designed for your body to thrive? No. What you've been doing has not been designed for your body to thrive. If you've been putting your body at a deficit, ask yourself one thing that thrives in a deficit. Nothing does. Okay. So it's based in science, all the things you've been doing, and your body is reacting exactly the way it's supposed to react. 2, would you let your kids do what you're doing? If you would not let your kids do what you're doing, then recognize that you shouldn't be doing it either. And most importantly, if you don't know how to actually fuel your body correctly and how to live a life of food freedom and understand more about who you are, what you need, and your purpose on life, how are you ever going to teach your kids that? And 3, is what you're doing something you can do for the rest of your life? Your body thrives in consistency. It's a relationship like any other. And if you can't do something for the rest of your life, then you shouldn't be doing it. But you believe it's selfish to invest in yourself. And I can't think of anything else you should be investing in. I can't think of anything else you should ever not invest in. Like, this is the thing you have to keep investing in, whether it's your time or your money. You can't necessarily just figure it out on your own. I didn't try to be the plumber of my own house when I built my house, or the electrician. I don't know how to do that. I wasn't taught that. And you weren't really taught this either. It is selfish to actually not continue to work to figure this out. It doesn't matter where we are in this world, no matter where we are. And in this world, we agree on nothing, let's be honest. But when you are on an airplane in any country, any language, anywhere in the world, the first thing they say is put your own oxygen mask on before you put on anyone else's. In a world where we agree on nothing, how is it that we agree on that? Because we know that if you try to put on someone else's oxygen mask before you put on your own, you will die. And then who are you going to save? Nobody. So you have to figure out how you are going to be the healthiest version of yourself. And I don't care how many things you've tried before. You don't have an option to give up. And sometimes you got to go around the mountain a few times before you really know what you need. So Stop believing it's selfish to take care of yourself. It's actually selfish to not take care of yourself. Because if you don't, your kids or your grandkids are going to have to take care of you when you can no longer take care of yourself, because that is what will happen. And that is selfish. So many people say I would die for my kids. But my real question is, that's easy. It's easy to die for your kids. What's harder is actually asking yourself, would you live for your kids? Would you do what it takes to make sure that you were there and that you showed them how to be there because you modeled it? Number 3, you believe your goal is to weigh a certain amount. When I saw application after application, unless you have been following me for a really long time, you told me so many things about the numbers that then defined your value and your success. When I weighed 143 pounds, I was happy and I was confident. When I weighed 162.5 pounds, I was really struggling. And I don't feel like, we know these numbers down to the ounce. And the bottom line is, I know plenty of larger, confident women and a lot of women who are smaller and not confident. I also know people that are going through cancer treatment. If they've lost a whole lot of weight, doesn't mean that they're healthy. So we have to stop associating the number on the scale with health, and that your goal is to weigh a certain amount. You actually have no control over that number. I know that's shocking because so many things you've tried before tell you that you should have a goal weight. I want you to just disengage that from your language. Just disconnect that thought. You actually don't have control over that number. You have control over your behaviors that will work towards an outcome, but it's time to divorce ourselves from that goal. Because the 4th thing that I know after reading all of your applications in the scholarship is that health is actually secondary to your weight. You say you want to be healthy, but in all reality, you want to lose weight. And if you are now in your 40s or 50s, at what point are you going to really realize that you're chasing around the mountain for what? Life is so much bigger than that, and it's going by so fast. And if you are not the healthiest version of yourself, you aren't going to be able to do the things for as long as possible, regardless of how much you weigh. Weight gain is your body's check engine light saying something's off. And if you keep going after the thing that's off versus the root cause of what's making it off, you're never going to get there. And you're just going to keep going around this hamster wheel for decades and decades longer, going back to number 1. You've been struggling for so long, and what you're doing isn't working. Everything that you're doing is this same wolf in different sheep's clothing. And if it's really about weight, then you're going to keep going after the things that people tell you, the society is telling us we should do, like weight loss drugs, like continue to go down the path of calories in versus calories out. Noom, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, you name it, all of them are around the same exact thing. It's not working. And if you really believed in health, you wouldn't even consider these other options. I talked to somebody who said, yeah, I'm on Ozempic right now. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're actually really more about the weight than the health. She's like, well, no. I'm like, well, then you wouldn't be on Ozempic. Not as a woman in your situation that's literally on it for weight loss. As you look at your blood work, cholesterol, blood pressure, as you look at the symptoms that you have, cravings, weight gain, menopausal symptoms like hormonal imbalances, hot flashes, PCOS, thyroid issues, insulin resistance, prediabetes, diabetes, heart disease, all of these things, chronic fatigue, that's all your body telling you something is very, very off. And as much as you say you don't want to end up like your parents or your in-laws or whomever it is that has to be taken care of, do you really mean it? Because I spoke to a woman who told me, yes, that is really important to me, health. But when she eats a certain food that she considers bad, she goes through all sorts of food guilt. And I asked her, what are you afraid of? And she's afraid of gaining weight. So I said, so we're really talking about weight here. And I would just ask you to get real with yourself and figure that out. Because if health is really secondary to weight, you're never going to find the right solution. Last thing, your fear is actually holding you back from doing the different that you say you want. I want us to think about fear. And the bottom line is we need to be able to have a little bit of fear in our life because fear keeps us safe, right? If we didn't have any fear, we would do really dumb things on a regular basis. But fear has to sit in the back seat. If fear is sitting in the front seat, if it's changing the radio station, and if it's, God forbid, driving, you will never go to a new place that you say you want to go to. Think about it. Anytime you go to a new place, if you're going to a party you've never been to, if you go to a new location you've never been to, anytime you go to someplace new, it's a little scary. And fear does not like to be scared, does not want to go somewhere new because it's scary. And so if fear is making your decision, you will never go to where you say you want to go. And I saw that time and time again with so many of the women that I talked to. They said they wanted X, Y, and Z, but when it really came down to it, they were really afraid to say yes to themselves. Because one, they've been struggling for so long, they don't know how not to struggle. Two, they believe it's selfish to be investing in themselves. Three, they believe that a weight is a goal versus health, and therefore are really afraid of failure. Because if weight is your goal, then you're afraid that you're not going to get to that goal. But if health is your goal, well, we know how to get you there, and you're going to know that immediately. And there should be nothing to fear, but it's a new place. Health, not focusing on the scale, all those are new concepts. And if you're going to allow fear to make decisions, you'll never go there. So you got to ask yourself, what am I afraid of? If I'm not saying yes to what I know I need, what I know is different, why? So many of us think of fear, as soon as we're afraid, we think of it like a wall that we can't go over or around. But what I really want you to think about with fear, think of it like a really heavy door. A door that is hard to push open, but it can be pushed open. You just have to push a little harder. And fear means going outside of your comfort zone. And with so many women that applied, I could see the fear holding them back. Because the brain goes with what it's familiar with. You're going to keep going back to what you've always done because it's comfortable, even if it's painful. And the worst thing you could ever do is live with regret. Remember, you are either going in a 1% incline or a 1% decline. And if you keep doing what you're doing, and you know that you're not in the right space, in the right place, and that your body and your health are not where they need to be, then you are going to continue to decline. So take these 5 lessons and figure out, what do I have to do next? Whether it's following me on Instagram and going through my morning time with me. I am live every single morning on Instagram, and I am walking you through a morning routine that I know is the linchpin to anybody getting healthy. I've written 100 days of declarations. I share them every single day. Go follow me on Instagram. If you are really ready to do something different, go get to my private practice and see if you can get yourself on a call. Go to disruptivenutrition.com, get on a call with one of my team members, and just start talking about solutions. If you are a health pro, if you are a nutritionist, dietitian, personal trainer, physical trainer, a doctor, and you know that not only do you need to get yourself on track, but you also know you need to get your clients on track, then go check out pfc3healthpro.com and see how I work with health pros to be able to help you get through this with your own clients. There is a space for you and a place for you. If you are in the corporate world and you know productivity, health, wellness is holding back your organization, then go to carrielapoli.com, send me a message, and we can talk about how I can get in front of your staff, your people, to make them understand more about what they need to be the best version of themselves possible. And if you're not living as the best version of yourselves in your personal life, you certainly can't do it in your professional life. All right, that's my mini episode for you today. 5 ahas that I had from the scholarship. You've been struggling for so long. You believe it's selfish to invest in yourself. You believe your goal is a weight. You believe health is secondary to weight, and fear is holding you back. What are you going to do about it? Let's go.